All right, let's get right into it. Today we're talking about something that's affected countless families across Scotland, but it's often suffered in silence. It's a hidden injury, industrial deafness.
You know, that quote, it really makes you think, doesn't it? We just expect to hear. But for thousands of Scottish workers in the shipyards, the mines, the factories, that deterioration wasn't just nature taking its course, it was a direct result of their job.
And look at this number. It's just massive. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people. Each one of those is a person who might struggle to hear their grandkids or follow a chat in a pub. It's a huge, huge deal. And that's why we're doing this. This is for them. If you, or maybe your dad or your granddad, worked in one of those noisy jobs and now finds it hard to hear, then stick with us. We're going to break down what this is all about.
Okay, first up, let's unpack why this is often called the silent epidemic. The really tricky thing here, the reason it caught so many people out, is right there in that quote, invisible and cumulative. This wasn't a one-off accident. It was the slow, steady drip of damage, day in, day out, for years. You wouldn't even notice it happening, and you'd probably just put it down to getting a bit older. And just look at this list. I mean, we're talking about the very backbone of Scottish industry, right? The shipyards on the Clyde, the steelworks, the mines. All these places were incredibly loud. They were the engine rooms of the country, but they were also places where people's hearing was being permanently damaged.
So this is a really important shift in thinking. This wasn't just part of the job. Medically and legally, it's seen as an injury. It was not something that just had to happen.
So, what's actually happening inside the ear? Well, the official term is noise-induced hearing loss. Basically, inside your inner ear, you have these thousands of tiny, delicate hair cells. Loud noise physically destroys them. And here's the kicker, it's permanent. Once they're damaged, they are gone for good.
Okay, so this is where things get really crucial, especially from a legal point of view. You've got to separate hearing loss from noise and hearing loss from just, well, getting older. And they are different. As you can see, noise damage has a specific pattern. It tends to hit the high-pitched sounds first. That's not what happens with typical age-related hearing loss.
So, you might be wondering, how can they tell the difference for sure? Well, it's pretty amazing actually. There's a smoking gun. When an audiologist does a hearing test, they look for this very specific dip or notch on the chart. It's the classic fingerprint left behind by noise damage.
And it gets worse. For so many people, it's not just about what you can't hear. It's about what you can hear, all the time. Tinnitus. That constant ringing or buzzing that only you can hear. And honestly, for some people, it's even worse than the deafness. It can wreck your sleep, your concentration. It's relentless.
So we've established it's a real, diagnosable injury. The next logical question is, who's responsible? Let's look at the path to making a claim.
This timeline right here is everything, because it shows that employers couldn't just say, we didn't know. As far back as 1963, there was official guidance making the risks crystal clear. From then on, they had a duty to do something about it, to protect their workers. And those rules just got stricter and stricter over the years.
All right, this is the big one. The question that's probably on a lot of your minds. After all these years, maybe decades, is it just too late to do anything about it?
And you might be surprised by the answer. In many cases, it's not too late. And here's why. In Scotland, the law is pretty smart about this. The 3-year time limit for a claim doesn't start from when you left the job. It starts from your date of knowledge. That's the point you realize 3 things. Your hearing is bad, it's bad because of the noise at work, and it was your employer's fault. For many people, that realization only happens years later.
Okay, so let's say you're thinking about this for yourself or a family member. What does the process actually look like? Well, it involves a bit of detective work, really, tracing the past. It's a step-by-step process, really. It all starts with getting the right legal advice from someone who specializes in this. Then comes that formal hearing test we talked about. And after that, the real digging begins, tracking down those old companies and, crucially, their insurance companies. Only then is the formal claim made. Now, right away, you can see a huge potential problem. A lot of these jobs were decades ago. The shipyards, the factories, many of them are just gone. So how on earth can you make a claim against a company that doesn't even exist anymore? It feels like a dead end. But there's a solution. It's a fantastic tool called ELTO, the Employer's Liability Tracing Office. Think of it like a giant database that keeps records of which insurer covered which company and when.
It means that even if the company itself has vanished, a specialist can often track down the insurer who is now responsible. So that problem can be solved.
All right, let's get to the final part of this journey. If a claim is successful, what does that really mean? What does justice and recognition actually look like in this situation?
Well, when you talk about compensation, it's not just one lump sum. It's usually broken down into two parts. First, you've got solatium. It's a legal term, but what it really means is compensation for the human impact, for the suffering, the frustration, the loss of enjoyment in life because of the hearing loss and tinnitus. Then you have special damages. That's more straightforward. It covers the financial costs, like the thousands of pounds for good quality hearing aids.
And let's be really clear here. This isn't about hitting the jackpot. This quote gets to the absolute heart of it. It's for the person who can't hear their grandkids laughing, who feels isolated in a family gathering because they can't keep up with the conversation. It's about recognizing that a real important part of their life was taken from them. And that really leads us to the core truth of this whole situation. This should not have happened. The deafness wasn't inevitable. The tinnitus was not unavoidable. The risks were known and the damage was preventable.
So you see, it really goes beyond the money. It's about getting an acknowledgement, an official recognition that what happened was wrong and that it could have and should have been prevented. And so we'll leave you with this to think about. What does that kind of recognition really mean?